Alright, so I've seen a Joker Folie, Deux, and this is the sequel to the first movie where this follows Arthur Fleck in the Arkham jail, and this is like a touch upon his story, especially with his mental illness, and with it being a musical sequel with Harley Quinn and Lady Gaga being added into the picture. And I gotta say, this was a good sequel, but at the same time, it was sort of a mixed bag for me on some parts, and that's what I'm gonna get into in this official review for the movie. And also, I won't give away any spoilers. I'm just to give you like what I liked and what I didn't like, and how like this movie, it's not going to be for everyone, but the people out there will definitely enjoy it, but you'll definitely like for what I have to say in here as well. And so if you're new to be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on any future events. But now let's talk about it. And now, if you all know the first Joker from 2019, and it really introduced Arthur Fleck and how he transformed into the Joker by having this mental illness. He has a condition where he just laughs hysterically in unexpected ways. And for what Todd Phillips made this character to be, is that like this is a Joker that goes up against a Batman. And I thought Joaquin Phoenix really brought that role to life in that film. But moving into the sequel, I feel like this was a follow-up from the first movie, and no one expected this movie to be a musical ever since it got announced. And even people that like sometimes don't like musicals, but with this movie, it is technically a musical. But with the people behind the scenes, that they were saying that like music is sort of like a key element that comes from the characters of what they feel into that moment. But I feel like it's definitely not going to be for everyone. On top of the musical standpoint, I thought it was just a good touch-up movie. And now for where we find Arthur Fleck in this movie, we find him in the Arkham Asylum, especially after everything that he's done, with all the crimes that he's committed, after being transformed a sociopath and a murderer. And it really goes hard on him because it really touches upon more on his condition and his mental illness, especially when he is being interviewed by the press with everything that he's done from the first movie, like where like we find him in like the courtroom. And I mean, this movie like really has its moments with the courtroom drama scenes. And I feel like it really brings back its main characters. I feel like, yeah, the first Joker you definitely had to watch. There are some moments that I really touched upon from the first movie that you should definitely watch. But I feel like the courtroom drama scenes, that I feel like they are really good. But I feel like it can be a dread at times. But I feel like it's really important just for the mental state of Arthur Fleck. And now with Joaquin Phoenix back in the role as Joker, I feel like he did really good. And as with the first movie, and that won Joaquin Phoenix Best Actor at the Oscars, and people loved him in that role. I thought he was incredible. But as with the sequel, he's really still got it. And on top of with the sociopath and that mental illness state within him, those are the traits that he carries. But I feel like I think they do take it seriously, and sometimes that they don't. And even with Lady Gaga being introduced in the picture as Harley Quinn, and when these two meet for the first time, it's sort of cool. But at the same time, they kind of like underused Lady Gaga in like some way, shape, or form. But I feel like Lady Gaga did do an amazing job, and the fact that they added her in this movie, and they somehow made it a musical sequel because you know she is a singer in real life. If this movie like was not a musical, I feel like this movie could have been better. And now with the question that everyone has on their minds, and that is like, is this movie, everything in it is actually a musical? And I gotta say it is yes, but with the musical sequences that goes down, like it was used in the right way. And even with Todd Phillips, the director of the film, that also stated that this movie is not a musical, like with every musical that is like an element from our main characters that's for Joker and Harley Quinn. But I feel like it was definitely used in the right way. It's not forced, but I feel like in like some moments, a musical number like every 20 or 30 minutes, and that's how I felt during the movie. And I feel like, I mean, Joaquin Phoenix and Lady Gaga have great singing voices. I didn't say like they were bad. It's just I feel like this could have been taken more seriously, but I feel like this movie being a musical, I cannot tell if it was a good idea, but it was sort of alright for it to be a musical. But again, like they didn't last long, but it stuck true its main tone. And now I want to get into for what I liked about this movie is that this really captures and reflects on Arthur's character arc. And this is where we see him in this movie, that he has transformed his life into the Joker, this sociopath who has a dark past. He was abused, and this is what everything is touching upon him, for how he's being treated in the Arkham Asylum. And that this is how he really is with his mental state, especially with his illness of this continuous laughter that he has, and to try to make people laugh to put on a happy face. And that's stuff that I really was fascinated by for the way that they told this story in this sequel. And with Lady Gaga and Joaquin Phoenix's on-screen chemistry, it really works out fine. And it's just that I feel like could have like used that a little bit more, and for how they handled that at the end of the movie, it's just like a mixed bag for me for the way that they handled it. But it was really worked out well, and I like the scenes with them in like musical numbers, and it's just like there are some good moments, there are some good standout things. With the things that were a mixed bag for me is that the musical sequences that go down, it does have like a way to take away serious moments, but again, like the serious moments were handled well about with Arthur Fleck and Harley Quinn. But I feel like there are like multiple sequences where like our main characters are singing musical numbers. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like I like Joaquin Phoenix and his singing voice, but I feel like if it was like overused in like a way that's going to turn audiences away from this movie, but it's really handled well. But I feel like, I mean, I did this to make it like a sequel that was worthy enough like 5 years later. It's sort of, but not so much. I feel like this does keep its dark and serious tone within like all the stuff that is within the character of Joker and Harley Quinn, with the way that they're introduced on screen together. What I could also say is the pacing can be dreadful and dull at times, and just what the trailers and the marketing showed us, like this movie spends most of its time in Arkham jail with Arthur Fleck for how he's being treated after the first movie, and like I'm pretty sure that's what he's pretty much in for. But with the courtroom scenes that were added, there were like lots of drama stirred up. But I feel like if this weren't like a musical with all those sequences added, I feel like this would have like spent more time on like different locations. I feel like this would have been with Joker and Harley Quinn going on adventures together, and just with the courtroom drama scenes were to be fantastic. But I feel like they were really good, and for what I can say about the third act, like it is chaos, it is destructive, and not to get into any spoilers, but the ending might not be what everyone expects. Like I cannot tell if I was satisfied to when we get to that final shot, to when the credits roll. I mean, like the ending, it might be divisive for some people, especially with this build-up that was happening. But then like it was sort of like a letdown towards the end, like everything hyping it up, especially as this is like 5 years since the last movie, and like was this a worthy enough like sequel? I cannot tell for what this build-up was from start to finish. I think I cannot tell if I was let down, but it was good enough. It was not perfect or fantastic. It was just like a good enough sequel that touches upon Arthur's life and his character traits. And so these are my thoughts on the film. Again, this movie is not going to be for everyone, but it is a mixed bag. But at the same time, I thought it was a really good movie. It was a really just a great sequel overall. Again, it was not fantastic, but it is good enough, and I enjoyed my time. And there's going to be a side where people are going to enjoy it, and another side where people aren't going to enjoy it. But that's fine. You guys are set to form your own opinion. Again, I enjoyed my time with this film. I enjoyed my time with these characters, and Joker and Harley Quinn, and they really put on great performances. I enjoyed the musical numbers and everything else that went down. Again, this comes out this weekend, so get your tickets now. And again, this is the Joker sequel that is a musical, and for those of you that like it out there, this could be for you. But that's gonna do it for this video. Just let me know in the comments below, and if you are planning to see a Joker Folie, Deux, or if you already seen it, give me a rating between 1 out of 10. I'm curious to hear your thoughts. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe and turn to notifications about future videos. And also follow all my social medias, always linked up below. And with that, I'll see y'all in the next video. Peace.